We've got a different surface today. This time it's an anti-static mat because we're going to try building a computer. Got some parts here, this main board and a CPU, which is hopefully a good one. It's been maybe 11 years since I built a computer from parts, since the last time I did it was a first generation i7. Now we're going to try out this i9 12900KS, so hopefully that will be good. I spent quite a long time deciding what main board to buy and chose this one because it has quite a few M2 slots, as well as at least 3 slots that can do PCIe 4 times, since I need the graphics, the HDMI capture, and the Thunderbolt expansion, which we got here. Put that in later if everything goes well. Let's get started. I didn't buy a case because I couldn't decide what to buy, so we're just making a computer on the bench for now. The mat is grounded. It's a good idea to put everything down on it so the charges equalize before you start touching it, along with your hand, so that you stay at the same potential as everything else. And the other reason why I chose this one is because it has quite a good arrangement of USB connectors. Some of them seem very stingy on the amount of USB 3 connectors that you get on the board. So this has some normal USB 3, but then it's got some of the 10 gigabits per second ones and a nice 20 gigabits per second one. That seemed like a good thing to me. Some interesting routing of the tracks in there around something around there. We do a tear down on this, take all this off. No, not today. I guess it goes that way. So this needs 2 8-pin, and then it's got the normal 24-pin ATX power. There's additional USB 3.2 header there and standard USB 3 header there. Peel these things off. Whoa, that's exciting. Peel off on the back too. Got some RAM here. I looked up on the manufacturer website what RAM compatible and tested with it. I would have preferred a DDR4 board because the RAM is much more affordable, but they didn't have any in stock of this variety with all the other things that I wanted, so I end up with DDR5. I guess we'll survive. Should I put that in first or the CPU? I have to deal with this socket. I was just thinking if the heatsink's really huge it might be difficult to get those in. I guess we'll do what they say. It says there that step 1 is the CPU, then step 2 is setting the fan up, and then step 3 is the RAM. It tells you for 2 modules to put them into those 2 slots. That's really weird. These don't open like that side. Strange. Not seen anything like that before. I want to have a look at what this M2 slot's all about. Okay, they need a smaller screwdriver. Okay, so there's some thermal interface stuff over there. It hasn't been applied very well. Look at that. A big hole that's come from that thing. It said something about it's got an easy release thingamabob in it. Well, I have got this to stick in there. So that one joins up to the PCIe, the CPU's PCI lines, so it gets the best performance. And then these ones are the other ones off of the other thing, chipset thing. Okay, they all get cooling. Oh yeah, they go in different directions. Let's leave those off for now. And then there's another one there. Alright, let's get this CPU out and see what its deal is. Oh, look at that. It comes in this tray which looks like the wafer, that silicon wafer. Oh, and that unclicks. That's quite exciting. That's a neat thing. That's very exciting. There's some stuff under here. Okay, there's an arrow there, so presumably that's the corner. That's weird, they say you don't take that thing out until later on. Okay, it's very unclear about what one is the corner. Guess it's that. Okay, we'll stick this in then. It's got an arrow on it. Yeah, so there's more pins missing from that corner there. So that'll be that one that lines up with that. And then you close it. Then you pull that thing off. And that's all sitting in there nicely. Seems to be. It said pull that off. Like, oh, was that to stop it banging onto there? I guess. I don't know if you keep that thing or not. It just says 3. Remove that. I suppose, I don't know. Good. This thing is in millions of languages, so it's really hard to follow. Anyway, that's there now. So that's those arrows, so you know which way around to put this. Got a heatsink. So we'll take a look at that and work out how to put that on. No more does it just come with the CPU and you can, it just clicks into place, but now you have to buy your own fan heatsink separately. It said that it comes with thermal paste already on it. Okay, that's good. I have to look at this for a while to see what we need to do. Okay, we're going to install this heatsink stuff. So to start off with, we got to get this plate, which is going to go on the back of the motherboard. And then there's these screws which need to poke up through it, and then there's some spacer clip thingies. And so according to this, we've got to do it in the outer position, so it's got to be furthest away. And then later on it says we need to use the blue these things, so that's good, those are out all ready to go. And it also says you get 2 extra of these black spacer things, so we'll keep those spare ones for later. Okay, that's pretty straightforward. Just triangle shaped thing, so it can click into either direction. A lot more hands-on than it was back in the day where you just get the heatsink out of the box, push down those 4 clips and it's done. Okay, we've got that thing. Now this has to go from the back over the stock back plate. Like that. Now we got this stuff here. We need to work out what one we need. So we got these blue spacer things. And then we're going to put these on. And it says you got to use the same holes. Position 2. Oh, it goes around the other way. With those bits sticking outwards. Okay, that's what it shows. No, there. That's just saying don't get that messed up with those not lined up into the right holes. I think because that will cause it to skew off a bit. So I think that's good. We got them in the middle ones, which is what it says to do here for the LGA 1700 socket. Use position 2. That's done. Oh, it says choose the alignment of the mounting bars according to the desired final orientation of the cooler. So in this case, with like that, it's going to go that way, which I think is probably what I want, because there'll be, in the case, there'll be some kind of opening here, and that can port directly onto it. So we want to have the airflow going this way. Presumably this fan can come off and be attached to whatever direction you need. Oh, we've got to put this thing down first. It says fix the mounting bars using the NVMe something or other thumb screws. Boring video, isn't it? Watch an old man try and understand modern things. Oh yeah, there's already stuff on the heatsink, so the final things are these, which look like a screw, but they're actually a nut, so that's going to go onto those. But first we've got to attach these. That must be for some other type of socket. Presumably you want to do that firm. Gently until they stop. What counts as stopping? I guess that's why they're thumb screws. I suppose otherwise you're going to be crunching those standoff things. Because we're not actually tightening it down here, we're just retaining these brackets so they can be pulled on upwards. 0.6 Newton meters. Good. Now we're going to fasten the heatsink to the CPU. Take off the fan. Oh, take off the fan. As well as the cover on the bottom. Yeah, you need to take the fan off because you got to get to the screw. And it's all clean, I haven't touched the top of the CPU. So we should be able to just go for it. Okay, it says, gently tighten the screws until they stop, but do not use excessive force. Perform 2 to 3 turns on each screw, because you want to apply even force to it. It wobbles around quite a bit. Until they stop. So until that sleeve is bottomed out on the bottom of the bracket part. And they must be calibrated springs there. And that one stopped. Alright, there you go. That's that. I guess we don't need these bits. And we're going to put the fan back on. I have to get around there to see this. Okay. And then there's a CPU fan header down here to attach that to. Okay, let's stick in some RAM now. Oh, that's really heavy now. I noticed there was a little book underneath one of them. Instruction manual, look at that little thing. Installation guide. Okay, that's generic. Good, and you get a little sticker. Okay, let's stick these in. I don't know which way around they go. So on this motherboard, it's got a spring clip type thing down that side. You can see in there, whereas that side is the regular lever. Maybe we should have done that before the heatsink because of the... Got DDR4, and I would have got 64 gigs because the price is so much less, but yeah, you ended up paying a lot for this. 32 gigs should be enough. My existing computers have got 16 gigs, and that's mostly full most of the time, so 32 is hopefully good enough. I think that means we can turn it on now. We've got the bare minimum stuff connected up. We've got a power supply. Oops, the thing just peeled off of it. With this power supply. Yeah, so I had this note on it that said that the fan does not run until the load gets into a moderate amount. Yeah, so we've got this power supply here, fully modular connections. And what I'm interested in is measuring the power consumption of this computer to see what it's like. It says CPU cables, got this huge thing for the main ATX, and there's another CPU one. That's all we're going to need to start off with. Presumably those are universally attachable. Pretty gross that it's got this huge thing there which is completely inflexible. So if you want to make it nice and tidy, you've got this solid part that you can't bend at all. It's a bit horrible. Yeah, what they should have done with this is twisted these wires inside here, and then it would bend a lot better. And yeah, I don't know why they need to do that. Surely you can get a tidy end on this stuff without this huge bit of thick glue-lined heat shrink. Okay, this end, the 24-pin ATX onto here. It's done in 2 parts for some reason. I wonder if they separated out the rails here into a custom shaped connector. And then it says 6+2 PCIe and 4+4 CPU. So I guess you can use any of these that you want. I suppose they've arranged it so the pinout is right at each end, so we can just use whichever ones we want. Alright, put this out of the way. There's a power switch on the board. Now the CPU has got built-in graphics, which is one of the reasons why I got that CPU, because there was another option that didn't have the integrated graphics, but yeah, I wanted that. So let's hook that up to something. Now if this BIOS supports mouse, here's a good quality mouse. Here's a good quality keyboard. Alright, now the exciting part. I've got this here, which we remember from a live stream where I put this together, a little power meter thing. But we really need a grounded supply for this computer. We've got this exciting Japan style power cable. Good thing about Japan, you don't have to join up ground. That would have just been held there for the entire life of this cable, never connected. But let's connect it today. I've got this good power strip, so we can join the ground up, and then we can plug into the power meter. That's what you're supposed to do. Join up the ground. Now there's a switch there that's off, so we can connect that, and just leave it like that so we can see what's going on over here. Sitting at 123 volts today. Okay, let's juice this thing up. Some lights came on over here. It's 2.1 watts. So does that just come on the whole time from the standby? I'm guessing it's not powered up yet. Now it's powered up, 55 watts. There's supposed to be something on the screen. There's an indicator there that changed. It's now on white. Oh yes, now boot. Oh, there we go, look at that. It says new CPU installed. Please enter setup and configure your system. Press F1 to continue and take advantage of ASUS optimized performance. Please disable the ASUS multi-core enhancements in the BIOS. If you wish to follow Intel guidelines and apply its stock power limits, next you will enter the EFI. I suppose we'll do that. What is it going on about? Disable the ASUS multi-core enhancements. Why don't we want multi-core enhancements? It says there's one mouse attached, that's good. Okay, well let's do F1 to continue and take advantage of the optimized performance. Oh, look at that. I don't know what any of this stuff means. Pumps. XMP. Knows about the RAM. 4,000 megahertz. Is that what it was that I actually got? I thought it was supposed to be 5,300. 5,200. I guess you have to do that, don't you? XMP to enable the reading of the stuff out of the RAM so it can reach its full stop doing this. 914, close enough. Rapid storage technology. Memtest is built in. So what's that thing it was talking about? Disabling the multi-something thing. An AI tweaker. Ah, yeah, that thing. Yeah, it said that we had to disable the multi-core enhancement? I don't know. Yeah, maybe I should Google that. Yeah, according to a forum thread I found, this thing, multi-core enhancements, bends the rules a bit and allows the system to be overclocked a bit more than it's supposed to be. Perhaps I should just disable that for now. The CPU should be grunty enough as it is. I don't really want to change any of this stuff. Advanced. Platform MISC. I thought we were on advanced. Platform MISC. Express power management. Just wanted to make sure that virtualization is on. Run some virtual machines per core hyper-threading. Oh, you can turn it on and off per core. That's interesting. System agent PCH Thunderbolt. Discrete Thunderbolt support. I suppose we want to turn that on because we're going to add that add-on card, aren't we? Yeah, discrete. So that means the one that's not inside the CPU, because they don't give you access to that, unfortunately. PCIe tunneling over USB 4. That's quite exciting. Really, I didn't think they didn't know that that was going to be a thing. USB. There's not much to do on there, is there? You can turn on and off the ports. Network stack. Yeah, it's got 2.5 gig Ethernet. Huh. Networks disabled? It's probably for BIOS, is it? Not that the actual port is disabled. NVMe. So we'll just have nothing because we don't have any in there at the moment. Onboard devices. LAN. LED lighting. Probably want those all off because I don't really want to have LED lighting. This is a serial port. The header for the serial port. It's drawing 74 watts, just not doing anything. That's pretty high, isn't it? Okay, there's not much in here since we don't have any boot devices. Oh yeah, there's one thing. I got a TPM to install on it, since that's a thing these days. So perhaps we should install that. Now that we've checked that it turns on. Save changes and reset. So these are all the things that we're changing. Oh, look at that, it turned off the light. Okay, so we'll just check that it boots up again, and then we'll put this TPM in, which goes on a little header. The header there. Is it always going to take this long to turn on? Is that just what computers do these days? Okay, I guess it goes into the BIOS because there's no boot devices. We'll power it off. Presumably we'll have to power off like completely because we want to install this thing, which is probably something that runs all the time since it's some security business. Trusted platform module. Otherwise you get, if you want to run sucky Windows 11, you have problems. So let's try and do that. I've got a drive here with what should be Windows installed on it, so let's try it in the 20 gigabit port. So we'll try and boot this off the 20 gigabits port, which should give the best performance. Let's see what happens. Okay, doing something. I don't know if we have to configure any TPM things. Since we just added one, does that mean now more stuff is going to show up in the BIOS that we need to look at? Okay, it's probably going to take a few reboots to get into Windows. It's rebooting now while it installs the drivers for everything. Oh, look at that, we're in Windows, so we can log in. Oh, we were supposed to join a network on, weren't we? It's going to have to download and install heaps of drivers and things. Let's see if this network comes up. Device Manager. What is that? Really? It's like got viruses built into the motherboard? That's weird. Okay, this stuff should probably install itself over the next little while, and then we probably should put in something like Intel Driver Assistant, whatever they call it, and then that will set up the rest of the devices and make sure that we've got the latest versions of everything. Can't right click on the taskbar to get the thing anymore. This thing. The ASUS downloader. That's not very good, is it? That it wants to put spyware or whatever on your computer for you. That's somehow new to do that. The Armory Create. It's a service that helps you manage and download the latest software updates. Let's just do it because this is a temporary hard disk. As you can see, it's just got Windows up and running without having to do anything because, yeah, it was already installed on another computer. Presumably under Windows Update there'll be a whole bunch more. Yeah, this is the great thing you get to do if you have Windows 11, is that it doesn't really work properly and things are slow as. Especially if you try and search on the taskbar. That's what we want, Windows Update. And yeah, it's getting a bunch of things. It's getting an update as well as some other stuff. Yeah, to make Windows 11 useful, you've got to install Explorer Patcher so you can get a proper taskbar back that you can actually use, and a proper start menu, not this piece of... yeah. Anyway, we'll let this... we might be done here. I did get a graphics card, although it's in another system at the moment because I wanted to try it out. So that will... yeah. I was a little bit concerned because this is so tall. Is that going to block the graphics card installing? I suppose they thought of that, I guess. So we're also going to do another video later on. Oh, let's install the Thunderbolt. Let's do that. Yeah, later on we're going to do a video about Thunderbolt benchmarking because, yeah, I want to see how this compares to some of my other computers. And I feel this one's not going to be as good because it's not using the CPU's on-chip Thunderbolt controllers, which is a bit disappointing. Yeah, you can't get everything. I wanted a motherboard that brought out the Thunderbolt from the CPU, but yeah, too hard. So we've got that add-on card. But the thing with that add-on card is it only joins onto 4 PCIe lanes, so you can't get, you can only get one Thunderbolt port's worth of performance out of that, because yeah, one Thunderbolt port will saturate 4 PCIe lanes. Unless they've done something cunning and the card connects with PCIe 4 and then it splits that down to 3 for each port. But we'll determine that because that's what we're going to do. I've ordered some other SSDs as well so that we can try and saturate the Thunderbolt. So this is the add-on card for Thunderbolt 4. Interestingly, it lets you do 100-watt charging out of one of the Thunderbolt ports, and because of that you need to add a 12-volt supply into it. Then we're going to unwrap a PCIe power cable, quite a lot of these. Oh, is there only 2? Really? Yeah, that's not going to work, is it? Because how are we going to join up the graphics card as well? Unless I've lost one somewhere. So what is this going on about? It says Create app requires the installation of core services and components to your system. To do so, please allow... it means it's going to put viruses on the computer, doesn't it? And I'm wondering if we can get away without needing this, because that seems quite invasive and not really what we want. Do quite a lot of stuff that hasn't been installed. A RAID controller. Yeah. Alright. Yeah, this thing will probably sort it out. We'll see if that sorts it out, and then we'll put on the Intel driver assistant as well, and then see if that can sort it out even harder. So we'll just wait for that to finish. Yeah, so this thing is kind of dodgy, so that's what they give you for the PCI Express power. So do they really think that you can just join that onto your graphics card and only need one of these? Seems kind of dodgy, because if the graphics card's got 2 connectors, then surely they want you to join up 2 whole power cables, not just one with a double adapter on it. They have got fairly thick wires, but yeah, I don't know, it's just a bit dodgy. This thing just needs one, and it only needs 100 watts, which you can get from maybe 2 pins worth. There's a bunch of cables that you've got to install to bring the USB up to the board, and the Thunderbolt header, whatever that is, it's some sort of I/O. Yeah, big messy cables, stiff annoying cables. Tie those up nicely so they don't make too much of a mess in this. Okay, we'll come back once this has actually done something. Why does it take so long? What is it doing? And then this... oh, okay. It's doing that. Really? It's not a very good look, is it? On a new computer? Alright, we'll come back later once it's happy again, assuming it's going to become happy again at some point. After rebooting, it said download the uninstaller for this Armory Create thing, and it had a link to this, which seems to just be the installer, and so I ran that, and it seems to have sorted itself out. I don't know. Guess we're agreeing to something that I should probably read. See what it's going to corrupt on the computer. I'm going to send all my information away. Okay. What, so we can not agree to it if we don't want to agree to it? Let's see what it does. I don't want a wallpaper. Log into my account. I don't really want to do that. Oh, so it's not drivers, it's like a monitoring thing. I thought this was a driver thing. Or motherboard? You must first update my device. Okay, let's update it. Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, we need to look at BIOSes, because maybe there's BIOS updates. So, yeah, I guess this will do that for us. All MB. Yeah, I guess we should still look for firmwares and drivers. And we also need to get drivers for the Thunderbolt 4 thing, and also firmware to make sure that those are up to date. We guess we can go and look for that, can't we? Maybe not. Motherboards. Wow, you can't. Why can't it open in a new window? I don't know. How do you get to anything normal on this Thunderbolt EX4? It was there. Where's it gone? Drivers, Thunderbolt drivers, and we also want firmwares. Is that doing something? I don't know. Okay. Did that do it? Yeah, Thunderbolt firmware tool. Okay, that's good. Well, it's not very responsive, is it? We'll look at that soon once this... Okay, here we go. Oh, here we go. It's finally realized. So we're going to restart the system to do the installationing. And there will also updates. We'll leave it till later. Does that mean it's going to restart it, or is it just doing that? Let's just restart it and see what happens. Oh, I guess it's doing Windows updates as well. We'll come back once that's sorted. Okay, let's stick this on and see what happens. It is installing a major Windows update at the moment, which is a bit weird because I thought this drive was pretty up to date. I'd only ran it about a week ago, less than a week ago. Is it gonna do anything? The computer's very unresponsive, which is surprising for what I thought was a powerful computer. Oh look, here we go. Now we can do it. Okay, it's already started doing something. Let's see what it found. A graphics driver, or a serial port driver. That's a bit boring, isn't it? So all that other stuff in Device Manager is other stuff. I don't know what all those PCI devices would be. An unknown device. Okay, we'll do those. And I was going back to this website to try and find what we can do. Prime. LAN, chipset, audio, VGA, software utility, firmware, SATA. How can you just get all of this stuff so it's just done in one go? That's what we want. Fiddling around with this stuff for ages. Is that doing anything? I thought it was please restart. Okay, so we're gonna wait for that. Windows update. Oh, that's ready to restart. Okay, so we'll come back and do this stuff. Presumably the sound is installed. It's not very descriptive, is it? And the serial port is installed. Well, that's good. Yeah, I guess there's a better driver for that. I guess it's that. Can we just click these and download them, and then we'll come back to them and know what it's downloading? Really? They call it Serial I/O software. I thought it was the chipset driver. Doesn't make sense, does it? Serial I/O. I don't know what that even means. It sounds like it just means the serial port. Okay, it's doing a few things. Okay. The LAN, that seems to have dealt with itself. The sound, I suppose we'll download that for fun. VGA drivers. The Intel driver support thing is taking care of that for us. Software utility. It's just CPU Z. I suppose we'll download that then. Firmware. SATA. Let's get that as well. I suppose we'll get firmware, USB PD controller. Let's see, audio. Don't know what that's all about. So this is the, oh yeah, that's the SATA thing. Oh no, it's a rapid storage. Do we need this? I don't know, we're getting it by the look of it. Monitoring, I suppose we'll just do that. This is a throwaway system, a throwaway Windows installation at the moment because, so what happened to that other one? The audio driver. So let's install the audio stuff. And then there's a PD firmware thing. Oh, made that sad. Then yeah, PD, what is CPU Z? Why is that? Let's just do it anyway. Got their own CPU Z. I suppose. Not sure why CPU Z needs a thing. Anyway, that's done. Then there was, the last thing was the PD firmware. That's just one file. So have we finished the other installs? All those are just redundant things that just opened heaps of things because it felt like it. Because it was hanging for a while. It's interesting how those get their own icon, but other things are stuck in this stupid way that makes it really hard to do anything. That's why we got to install... okay. That's why we've got to install Explorer Patcher to fix the computer and make it less annoying. So I guess that worked, did it? Firmware update tool. There wasn't any readme or anything else to know whether that was good. It doesn't have any instructions. BIOS, firmware. So that's the thing we just did, wasn't it? Intel Management Engine. I suppose we'll get the BIOS. I think we might reboot first because with, so that's 1601. I wonder what it has to start with. Will this tell us? It probably will. Wow. We've got a really old version of the BIOS. Okay, so we really need to update that. That's important. Okay, well let's reboot and then we'll do the BIOS update. What is that? It's this app. Okay, whatever. Let's come back when this is done. It finished rebooting. Let's do BIOS update. BIOS renamer. We need to extract all, I think. Oh, now it's gone to a weird view. That's not what we want. This file has been renamed to use USB flashback. Copy it to the root of your flash drive. Oh, I thought you could just install the BIOS in Windows. Really? Now we gotta go do through this. So we need to find some sort of generic USB drive. Maybe this will do. So they got copied on, so I think now we have to reboot the computer and it will do something, I don't know. I'll pull out the booting drive. I'm used to BIOS things that you can just run in Windows and then they do it. Suppose we enter BIOS. And is there a flashing thing in there? Well, that's the thing. Will it just know? Let's see. Okay, there must be some other way that you get to the BIOS thing. Okay, there's no update. Really? You'd think that would be one of the things that exists. BIOS then? No. Be sure to update the BIOS. Well, that's what we want to do. How do you do that? Oh, so you have to go to that. EZ Flash utility. That's what we're supposed to be doing. And then we pick that, presumably. Okay, we don't have BitLocker on that drive as far as I know. Do you want to read this file? Yeah, sure. Okay, that's pretty recent. Do I want to update it? Yeah. Yeah, we just gotta wait. It'll just take a while. Okay, we'll come back when this is done. Okay. I say quite often in the manual that you gotta restore the defaults to make sure that it will be good and happy, stable. Guess we'll do that then. Well, it might have done it already because the lights... boot? Or BIOS? Oh, okay, so it hasn't actually updated. It's still doing stuff. Okay, so it says, please enter setup to recover settings. After setting up Intel memory or RAID, BMD options must be set according to the interface type. What does that mean? I guess we don't have any Intel Optane memory or RAID, do we? Maybe we don't have to worry about that. So I think we have to go through this stuff again, do we? Putting that on. I can't remember what else we did. That's the TPM. Oh yeah, look at that, it's sorted itself out. The Thunderbolt, discrete, enabled, and RTD3, I don't know what that means. Everything else was all good by default, wasn't it? I don't know, yeah, that's whatever. Good, okay. Oh, were we supposed to load defaults, weren't we? I think it did that already. Let's just do it again. There you go. The defaults are loaded. Now we just gotta go and change that stuff again. Thing that was on here. Oh, it's gonna boot, that's good. Good, if we look at this now, it should be up to date. Now, were there any other things we had to install? Good. Current BIOS. Oh, there's less stuff now. Okay, let's install the Thunderbolt card. See if that works. So idle power consumption around 30 to 40 watts. That's not too bad, is it? It's not the best, but alright. Okay, let's shut this down and we'll install the Thunderbolt card. Problem's going to be the board will need to be lifted up a bit. Okay, we'll switch that off, discharge it. And the issue is going to be that this now needs the motherboard to be lifted up, which is a bit annoying because, yeah, we need a nice thingy to rest that on. That's also not going to short it out. The manual, maybe? The RAM enclosure? I think that'll be the right tallness without messing it up. It's not now bending the mainboard too much. Now we've got some headers to plug in here. There's the Thunderbolt header, which goes on that. They're long as wires, and you don't even need long as wires. It plugs in there, and then the other end of it plugs into here. And then there's a USB header, and then there's power. Wow, it doesn't need power unless you're planning to run up to 100 watt outputs off of it. 100 watt PD charging. I suppose that's what we want to do, isn't it? But look how messy that is now. It's pretty gross. Yeah, I need to get a case now, don't I? Yeah, let's power this up. Perhaps we'll try connecting this up to Thunderbolt. Try and remember how to log in. That's a nice SSD. Shame you can't get these in 4 terabyte at a reasonable price. Okay, let's see what we have here. Device manager. We got a new, they call it a USB controller. Is that what a Thunderbolt controller is called? And we should have Thunderbolt drivers. Pretty sure that's what that is. Thunderbolt. There's an update tool. And there's a driver. Let's install the driver first. Look at that. Thunderbolt controller appeared. Okay, so we've got less unknown things now. And then there was a firmware update. Ah, look at that. You get the actual Thunderbolt thingy. That's good. Guess that's ready to run. Now, do we need to look at the Thunderbolt firmware? It says extract to a USB drive. Ah, really? This is pretty budget, isn't it? Compared to all the stuff I'm used to where you just run it in Windows like the Lenovo things. So you got to put it in a USB drive, insert, and then go to advanced and then launch EFI shell from USB drive. Okay, well let's have to find a drive that hasn't got stuff on it, and then we'll do that. Alright, I've put that stuff onto a USB drive. So now we've got to reboot the computer, go into the BIOS, go to launch EFI shell. Alright then. And presumably then it just knows what to do. Okay, let's try it. Advanced tool EFI shell. Or am I thinking of yeah, this thing. Launch. Make sure make sure Thunderbolt installed correctly and work normally. Please unplug R2 of what? Oh, it's all. Device check file is valid and prepare for update. So it says, oh, current firmware is newer. Really? But we just downloaded the latest. What do they mean? I don't know. Okay, fine. We'll just not update it then. Let's go into Windows and actually try the Thunderbolt. I just want to see what this says under the support link. They don't give you any information about what that means. Oh, that's PDIC. So it's not the Thunderbolt. So if it's Windows 10 you get a different thing. Alright, whatever. Does this still want to do anything? Oh, so it never actually installed that. Just wanted to check on this. Does it have... Oh, there's no graphics. So it must be using just the default... Oh, that must be the other unknown device then. Oh, because I thought it actually had a display. Yeah, so it hasn't actually had a display driver installed all this time. So that will be what that is then. We haven't got any other stuff. I guess things will work a bit better when it's got the proper graphics driver installed. We'll come back once that's done. Right, let's look in the device manager and... Oh, okay, we still have a PCIe. Okay. I wonder if we can work out what that is by looking up its hardware IDs, I guess. Some way of searching that to see what is this thing that we have here. Be anything. A PCI memory controller. Is that what it calls it? No, it just calls it a PCI device. Right. That doesn't make sense either, does it? N086. Vendor. Let's just try a random thing. Now it's got the gross ass ugly rounded corners. That's not what we want. Yeah, so now we've really got to install... Okay, so it's not going to be that. The chipset drivers. We already did that, didn't we? Oh, so they say it is a chipset thing, which would make you think that it should come up in this. Oh, there's more. See, that one's 350 megabytes. Ah, there you go. They're hiding stuff under these show more things. Ah. WinRAR. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty rough, isn't it? Really? So that's the thing I should have been doing before that uninstall. Yeah, that's why I couldn't find it, because you got to go show more, and then it lists all the rest of the stuff. So that's what we actually want, I think. And then there's that serial I think we've done. Then there's that. There's another management engine thing. GNA scoring accelerator. Then there's the actual chipset driver. Yeah, let's do the scoring accelerator thing because I don't know what that means. And then the actual chipset driver. Okay, let's do that first, since that's what we should have done way back. Okay, can we do the other stuff in the meantime? Oh, look at that, all the stuff is gone now. So yeah, we installed all the stuff. And the other thing was this management engine thing. I don't know if that's important. So install that and a dynamic application loader. That doesn't sound very good, does it? Okay, so we got to reboot now because of the chipset drivers. Then we're going to try the... Oh, did that work? It must have. Oh, there you go, that's what it turned to do. An SPI flash controller. Okay. Great. Great. Let's reboot. Alright, let's solve a problem with the computer. Let's get this and fix the computer. Download the latest setup program. Keep? Of course I keep. Looks like it's patching. Okay, so now we can put the normal, we got the normal start button back. It will take a little while. Turn off stupid rounded corners. Make things not look dumb anymore. I'm going to restart the computer for that one. Oh, there you go, look at that. A proper taskbar that actually works properly. Always show all the icons, of course. Like, why would you have it any other way? Combine, never combine, good, never combine, good. We just wanted the small taskbar, that's good. So look at that, everything is good now. Yeah, under other, disable round corners, that's selected, so next time these refresh, yeah, there you go. They'll go back to normal. Everything is nice, other than doing all the stuff to get rid of clear type. And that's stuff to do with that stupid stuff, which is really annoying. So yeah, that's got to be disabled, but we're not worried about that at the moment. We're going to benchmark some Thunderbolt drives. That's what's going to happen right now. And I'm pretty sure there's already some software on here. Oh, where's the start menu? The proper start menu. Look at that! Like normal, so now you can put the shortcuts and things there like they're supposed to be. I don't know what that's all about. I think it's just stuff that was... because I uninstalled all that crapware that they put on the computer. Yeah. They've dug out a Thunderbolt to PCIe adapter, and then it's already got a small, not very exciting SSD on it. So we'll power that up. Let's use this power meter so we can see what's going on at the same time, just for fun. And we'll get that hooked up to the Thunderbolt, and we'll see if that comes up in Windows. They're pretty mushy Thunderbolt ports. Oh look, something happened. There it is. Oh, look at that, it's got disk mark. I guess we'll use that to do our disk marking. Oh, we could get a later version. That might be old. Let's see. I'm sure there was another program. I need to look up what that was. What was that thing? Disk mark. Disk mark. And that looks like an ad. For some reason there's no ad block on this. I haven't used a computer without an ad blocker for so long that I don't know how to navigate stupid ads. Anyway, let's try this as well. Got this, the installer of this, so I don't have to worry about unzipping it. Just install it, who cares. Alright, here we go. So D drive. Okay, it was E drive. I thought this was bigger. Maybe. Oh, it will have a small partition on it because it was an image of another disk. And you see there's a D, which is, yeah, because it's a 256 gig NVMe drive, this one here, and it's got a BitLock protected copy of one of my other computer's system drive on it, and then it's got this open partition, so we'll have to test that one since that's the only one we can get to, and we'll do a sequential and see what it does. Although to get good results you have to set the caching correctly, otherwise it'll be pretty slow. Probably, oh yeah, that 2.8. Let's have a look. Properties, and you have to go to, oh, it's under this. I suppose it's a Samsung drive, is it? Yeah, and then under volumes, driver, I can't remember where it is. Policies, here we go. Better performance, enable write caching. Oh, I've got to restart the computer to do it. Okay, well there's the, I don't know if that's finished or not. There's the performance of that Thunderbolt drive. 800 megabytes, right, that's pretty bad. But then there's that caching thing, isn't there? This performance thing. CPU, maybe we should try that. Should we do a CPU test? Run CPU tests. Sure. Oh, the fan turned on. There you go, so the power consumption's gone up to 270 watts-ish when it's doing that. 285 watts. 326 watts. Okay, is that good? 99th percentile. I suppose that's pretty good, isn't it? Even though that little arrow thing isn't pointing past 99. I wonder what the RAM is like. Does it have a RAM test? Okay, RAM is okay-ish. not within the 99th percentile like the CPU was. Okay, that's because you have to spend thousands of dollars to get better RAM than that. That RAM was already quite expensive. Okay, alright, so we'll print screen this. This is the existing low performance drive. And then we'll get the other drive hooked up. The Samsung drive. There is a safe ejecting thing. Okay, we probably have to stop that, but we might not be able to because that caching is disabled. This device is in use by something that we don't even know what it is. Awesome, that's just what we want, isn't it? What we do want. We need to go to Advanced System Settings. You go into Performance, set to Best Performance, and then show window context while dragging, and that will set the computer up to work a bit nicer and not be so disgusting. Alright, so you have to shut down the computer. Okay, so in the meantime we're going to set up this Samsung drive. I'm going to put it into another Thunderbolt thing so we don't have to disturb this disk, but then we're going to do an experiment with that drive anyway. Just put that stuff out of the way for now. So this thing, it's got a PCIe adapter on it at the moment. Okay, so let's get out this new Samsung drive and we're going to insert it in this, which is a Thunderbolt adapter. I suppose it's not a fair test because that other one was a different Thunderbolt adapter, wasn't it? And now not doing a fair test here, but what I want to do is after we've just tested this out, let's see if we can install Windows onto a Thunderbolt drive. So in theory this won't come up because it's a brand new drive, so you got to go to Disk Manager, and that should then pick up the new drive. No. Okay. Oh, so this nice new drive doesn't work. Try it on the other Thunderbolt port. Doesn't seem to want to do anything, does it? Why is that? Thought everything was good. Is this a Thunderbolt device that needs activating? Oh no, they haven't came now. Okay, weird. Initialize it. GPT. Can't read any of that. GPT disk, and then we'll put a petition on it. Just do this for testing. We just call it 2TB. Just for fun. Now we've got a new volume. Maybe we'll just put it onto that one. Okay, let's run a test on it and see how its performance. So that's D. Go. Oh, why has it got a little orange thing? Huh, so that's the same. So I guess that's the Thunderbolt limit there that we're seeing. Maybe that's a bit better. That should be way better though. I think it's to do with the caching since it's set up as a removable drive rather than a permanent drive. Like a built-in drive. I don't know what that little red thing was on there for though. Alright, we're going to have a go at installing Windows onto this SSD while it's connected by Thunderbolt and see what happens. So we use the Windows 11 Media Creation tool and create media, and that will make us a bootable USB drive that we can use to install Windows. I've plugged a USB drive in, there it's F. Okay, I don't think there's any other things. Yeah, it's just that. We want a USB, we want an F. Getting a few things ready, got to get everything ready. Can we get rid of that? Okay. So the Thunderbolt drive is disconnected for now. So we'll try booting and the Windows installer and see if we can install it directly onto the Thunderbolt drive. And if that doesn't work, we'll take the Thunderbolt drive and put it directly in the computer in the NVMe slot. Then try starting the installer and then swapping it to Thunderbolt on the first reboot. which is that trick I showed in a previous video where I created the USB drive bootable Windows that we're running right now. Okay, we'll come back once this is ready to go. Flash drive's ready. Okay, so let's reboot the computer, pull out the drive that we're booted on so that it boots off the new Windows installer that we just created, and then see if we can install directly onto the Thunderbolt drive. So that Thunderbolt drive there is connected. Okay, we're connecting that, and I'm pulling out this drive here, which is what we were booting off of, and we'll see what happens. So I think we're booting off that, which is an SD card with the Windows installer on it. Yes, here it is. Install, and it's probably going to say there's no devices available for installing. We don't have product key. We're doing Pro. We're happy with that. We're doing a custom install. Okay, so we'll turn it off, and first we should exit it properly. We'll shut it down, repair my computer. I don't know, there's nothing in there that we can do. And we'll move this drive into, and then we'll boot up again. So we're going to put it there. Means I'm going to have to work out how these clips and things work. I also have to peel that off. I don't know if I want to do that. Well, it's going to have to happen at some point. Or should we just put it into this one here to start off with, so I don't have to peel anything off. So I still want to keep this drive available for some benchmarking before I permanently install it in the fast CPU slot. But I want to use it for some experiments to start off with. Okay, so that will just be there. Let's power this back up. Oh, let's turn on the monitor so we can see what's going on. If we're lucky, it will boot the Windows installer again. And if we're lucky, we'll be able to see the SSD this time and re-petition it. I don't think there was anything on there, was there, that we wanted? No, so we're going to system reserved. I don't know, we'll just get rid of that. Get rid of that 2 terabyte thing that we made. And we're going to make a new petition. And I want it to be 200 gig petition. I don't know, does this work in those new types of bytes or normal bytes that are 1024? So I want it 200 times 1024 megabytes. So that'll be 204,800. You must, to ensure... Oh yeah, it's going to create additional crap. Okay, so we've got 199.9. And look at all that extra stuff that it made. Anyway, good. Let's install Windows. And then we'll catch it on the first reboot. And we'll rip the drive out and stick it in Thunderbolt and see if it will let us set up a Thunderbolt capable booting drive. And if not, we'll just put it back in the computer and finish the setup just for fun. Okay, so in the restart we're going to power off. Okay, we've powered off. Just get rid of this for a moment. Yeah, yes, it's discharge. I'm going to unplug that disk that we used to copy the Windows file. I'm going to yoink this out, put it back into this thing. Get this little screw thing sorted out. Yeah, it's a lot easier with those special latches, isn't it? Now, if we're lucky, it will let us boot from it. If not, we won't, and it won't work. So let's find out. I don't know if we have to go and enable something in the BIOS. I think one thing you could do is see if there's a security on boot thing. Should we look for that? No, we might as well, just for fun since we're here. Under the advanced, then boot, I suppose. I don't know what any of that stuff is. Secure boot, compatibility, boot priorities. What I was thinking of was the Thunderbolt connection. I think there's any options for that, is there? Nah, anyway. Okay, so it looks like it can't, doesn't it? Because it went straight back into the BIOS. Ah, that's a shame it can't boot off the Thunderbolt. What are we going to do? That's disappointing. Alright then, fine. Well, oh, did it reset something? The lights have come back on this, which were off before. It switched off, but those lights are still going. There must be some capacitors. Okay, we'll put the drive back in and... ah, what a disappointing thing. We'll just do the setup. I was wondering if we should put it into this high performance slot. This one, the high performance slot, and then we can benchmark that. We'll have to finish the Windows setup in order to do that. Perhaps we'll end the video here. We've proven that can't boot off Thunderbolt. Suck. So that can take longer drives. We'll just put that in without peeling that thing off at the moment. And we'll carry on the Windows setup. I don't know how this video will be edited, if at all, because it's just this big long waffle about stuff that lasts several hours. Oh, it's got a mouse, even though it's got nothing on the screen. Oh, it's rebooting. Okay, I'll be back up in a second, I guess. Just installing things. Okay, let's do the Windows setup. Don't want to add any more. Checking for updates. It did not be updates because we just downloaded a fresh installer. Why would we want updates? Oh, how? Yes, it should be a new build, ready to go straight away. You see how the voltages sagged down over the day? Started off at 124, didn't it? People coming home from work, turning on their stuff, sags the voltage down. And if you wait till nighttime, it will bounce back up once everyone's gone to bed. The PC will restart before we continue. Does that mean it's downloaded and installed stuff? Okay, I'll get back to you later. Okay, we're doing some... says let's get connected. I think now you're banned from not being able to use a computer unless you got internet. Oh, what? Microsoft's really into this just a moment business. It's really annoying. Why can't we just do it? Why do we have to just a moment all the time? Why not tell us how long it's going to take? Or have a progress bar, not that weird flapping around thing which doesn't tell you how long it's going to take. Whatever. Yeah, I suppose, whatever. Suppose that'll be fine. What is this? Last synced. User settings, OneDrive. Should we do that? You restore from USB boot. I guess that's this drive that we were using. So, okay, that's because that... oops. Okay. Because, yeah, that would... okay, yeah, let's do that. It's weird that it says last synced Monday the 8th, because that's not now. So maybe it's not... well, I've got multiple drives that boot. So... from USB, and they do different things, so yeah, whatever. Just get rid of all this crap that we don't want. The whole thing about setting up Windows is just trying to make sure that you don't include any of the crap that you don't want. Backing up my stuff. No, I don't want to do any of that. Don't care about that. Don't care about that. I suppose it installed the display driver before when it went blank for a few seconds. I'm getting things ready for me. So I have to reconnect this USB drive since we've already downloaded all of the drivers and things on it. And then, yeah, we can install them. But look, we got into Windows. And look, that auxiliary cref thing is doing something. Whatever that was called. Okay, whatever. Don't want to do any of that. Regularly bringing, by regularly bringing, I don't know what that's talking about. Sign into Google. We can do that later, I guess. I don't really want to do that. What I wanted to do was just get the crystal disk mark, although we can get that from the other drive. Let's plug that back in. Just so we can see what the benchmarking is like. Like it's gone all blurry for some reason. Guessing that's not installed, but that shouldn't make much difference. Crazy, why does it have to install updates for a brand new install of the latest version of Windows? Doesn't make any sense, does it? Ah, so the USB ports don't work yet. That's weird. I think that they would. It's there, it just hasn't loaded. Don't understand, I can't handle this stupid taskbar thing that's centered. It's so dumb. Can't even use it. I need to get back to normal. Make it normal. Stop being stupid. Now I want to know, why is that thing not showing up? We already have device manager open. Oh, it did install that. I wonder why it looks so disgusting then. So why isn't this disk coming up? Where are my volumes? Populate the volumes. Give it a drive letter. Don't understand. Why doesn't it give it a drive letter? Just like be normal. Oh, the problem is everything's in the downloads folder. But it made a weird folder name for it. Okay, let's check the drive. That's all we want to do. Look at that, that's better, isn't it? 6.7 gigabytes. Oh, it's burning hot. 4.9, right. Okay, that's not too bad. A little bit faster than before. Alright, I think that's us for now. We'll come back later on and do some Thunderbolt benchmarking. But for now, that's it. Successful computer build, sort of, apart from all the problems we had.